today, Fermented World's 4th birthday. Now, I've not really clocked it the last couple of times, but as we've been gaining subscribers and it's, you know, views and stuff like that, so 4 years in the making today. We've currently got, I say we because it's our community. It's not just belonging to me. Obviously, I'm like the admin of it, but I like to think that you guys are a good part of it as well, because without you guys being here, there'd be no point in me doing this. Or if I would still be doing it, don't get me wrong, but I'm doing it kind of for somebody else other than myself, so it's not as selfish as it used to be. I'm a bit more considerate about what people might want. So, anywho, I saved a couple of beers from each batch of beer from, it's not the last 4, it's 2 back from the last 4. So I've done 2 more in between there, and I bottled one today which isn't included. So we have got Bash, which is a collaboration beer with the place where I used to buy my grain, and Neon Raptor, which is a brilliant craft brewery in Nottingham. Pardon me. I only just got out of the shower, guys, in time. I've spilt beer on the bloody carpet. It's not going too well. But yeah, so we've got this one, which I've already pre-poured, so you can have a quick look at that. This one's 6.9%, New England IPA. It's absolutely fantastic. I wish I could share this with you. Now, Brew Day Supplies is still open. Matt hasn't really said when he's putting that discount on yet, so sorry if I got anybody excited. I was a bit excited myself, to be honest, because I was going to buy loads of grain and brew some more beers, but yeah. That one's Bash. It's kind of juicy from the hops. It's got quite a bit of residual sweetness. It's pale as you like. It's very well carbonated. It probably shouldn't be as carbonated for the style. I'm not 100% sure, but yeah, we got that. So yeah, happy birthday to us. What a wonderful thing. 4 years in the making, and here we are. Got some lovely beers to sample. This one is my Raspblue, which is a raspberry and blueberry sour, 5.7%. And let's have a quick look at that one. It's got an absolutely lovely colour. It has. I mean, some of these, I think the heat has affected them, because where I store them, the heat's gone up quite a lot. And storing beers at high temperature, it can make it can go a bit iffy. I've not had one that tastes bad yet, but they seem to be like that little bit more carbonated. But yeah, happy birthday. Cheers to you. That one always catches me off guard, because although it's a beer and it's got tons of malt in, it's also got a small amount of hops, because you don't really need it in a sour, and tons of fruit. Tons. I think the raspberry comes through most on that. Next we've got is the American IPA, which I was quite impressed with, to be fair. My first attempt at an American IPA, and I only went off what I thought what a American IPA was. So this one's 5.5%. Now, I'm not sure what ABV Americans normally have. I do know that they drink a lot of like lager style stuff, which is quite low ABV. But this to me is the prime example of an American IPA. It's really bitter. It's almost a dank bitterness, using all American hops. I didn't really go into much about the grain. Wasn't too bothered about what grain was in it, whether it was American, English, whatever. It could have come from India for all I cared. The yeast and the hops is what made it the American, and it definitely does. It's a very different beer to an English IPA. I do like an APA, to be fair. An AIPA, may I say. Sorry. And then we've got the East Midlands Mild. Now, if you're not sure what a mild is, let me tell you. This is what the old boys used to drink many, many years ago, and it is bloody fantastic. If you've never tried a mild and you see one in a craft brewery, try it. you will not be disappointed. It's a really old style of beer, but it's sort of made a comeback with the craft scene. Pardon me. Like I say, they're really gassy. It made a bit of a comeback with the craft scene. And it's dark, it's malty, it's low ABV. It's only 4.1%. All the recipes for these, other than the bash, is on the Fermented World website. YouTube channel, not website. It's dark, it's malty. It's almost got like a chocolatiness to it. You wouldn't think that it was only 4% as well, 4.1%. Now, me and a mate of mine, I've said this before, we used to drink mild with his gran and granddad in the pubs in our local town in Nottingham. And, you know, back then we didn't realise that it was classed as more of an old man's drink. But now we appreciate it more because a lot of breweries don't sell it, because they've sold less of them, which means people tend to then produce what people want to buy. Otherwise, you're just stuck with a load of beer that no one wants. So yeah, that is the East Midlands mild. Oh, special. That is special. So yeah, I'm going to sit here, chat shit for a while. We've got one person in at the moment. Feel free to drop a comment or say hello or anything. Ask a question. If you've got any questions about homebrewing, feel free to ask. And if I have the knowledge, I will share. Next beer, we've got a rather odd one, really. If I can remember where I put the recipe. I might have just flung it across the room in frustration. Yeah, the next one is called Botanic Ale. And it's going to have Pilsner malt, wheat malt, Vienna malt, and Belgian aromatic malts. It's going to have Magnum, and it should have had Sterling, but I had to compensate Sterling hops for something else because I couldn't actually find it. Now, Sterling, from what I read, is a hybrid of 3 different hops. Now, that could have been really good. I would have liked to have tried that, so I'm going to keep my eye out for that. It's using a French Saison yeast. Oh, we've got some people. Hello, Jane. Hello, Matt. What's up, Ray? Hi, do you have a Dorchar's beer? Dorchar's beer? No, I don't, but I'm going to write it down and then I'm going to go find it out. Could you explain what it is to me, dude? Why have you all got crowns next to your heads? Next to your names, sorry. Jane and Matt, you've got a hashtag 1 next to a crown. What's all this bloody palaver about? Ray, you've got a 3. What's that? Top fans. There's like a thing up here. Oh, I think you guys generate XP. Oh my goodness. Well, don't worry about that because I won't be paying attention to that. You would generate XP now. Oh my god, it's become a video game. Who is in order when they commented? I have indeed made a braggot. I made a failed braggot and I made a... So I've done 2 versions of it because a braggot can either be a mead or it can be a beer. So the beer one is mostly malts and then a little bit of honey in there as well. And the mead one is also a braggot, but it has more honey than it does malt. And I think I used a stout for mine. I can't remember now, dude. It was so long ago. If you go into the search bar after you've finished here, type in hashtag fermented world and then type in braggot. If you're looking for something that I've made, I always put a hashtag with fermented world in the actual title, so you'll be able to find it nice and easy. But yeah, I did one. I'm sure I did one of each. I must have done. But I'm not sure whether one of them didn't work. I think the one that I made as a... So, right, here we go. This is a long time ago now. So, the braggot that I made as a mead, I actually combined the two. And then it started fermenting in the bottles. So I had to keep burping them. And I think it had got contaminated or something like that. So I ended up just ditching all that, I reckon. Update on my first beer. It's going pretty well. Pretty excited. Well done, dude. Yeah, man. You know when you get it done, and even if it's not what you expected it to be, you made it, and that's what matters. Thanks, man. I'll definitely check that out after this live session. Yeah, nice one, Trommer. But yeah, as I was saying, this botanic ale, not a botanic ale, botanic ale. It's like a play on words, yeah. It's just being like cliche and craft beery and all that jazz. But again, this is one that I've taken from another recipe in this book, but I've kind of like changed all of the quantities and stuff, changed the type of hops, because, you know, certain things I can't get hold of, which other people, you know, have done, and I don't want to share something that somebody else has brewed, because that's not fair. If they've made it and published it in a book, you know, you can get an idea, because what I'll do is I'll draw from this source and that source, and then I'll be like, I'll have a bit of this and a bit of that, and I'll see what happens. And sometimes you get something that's bloody great. So it's going to have heather in it, it's going to have dandelions, chamomile and lavender. Now, the only thing I've had to buy is the heather, because the heather and the dandelion. Now, I missed the dandelion season in the UK. They were all up. I was like, I'm gonna do it, I'm gonna do it, I'm gonna do it. And then they were all bloody gone. They'd seeded and I couldn't flip and do it about it. So I bought some heather, dried heather. I've bought some dandelion. I've got some chamomile tea bags, which I'm going to use as like a substitute, because I've already got them, so I may as well bloody use them. And then I've got some lavender from a lavender plant in my garden, which I've just let dry out. And they're going to go in steeped at flame out. So that flame out is where you switch the flame off, you take it pan off the heat, move it to the side where onto the hob where it's not heated, and then you just leave that stuff in there for 10 minutes. I'm going to be messing around with mash temperatures again. I did do this with the last couple of beers, and it did turn out to give me more of a malty flavour in the beer, which is exactly what I wanted. Split into 2-gallon carboys, and added a vanilla to one, and hops and pine needles to the other brew. Crikey, you're going all in on your first brew. My tip would have been keep it simple, but the way I see it is I used to follow other people's liquid malt extract kits, and then I got bored of them because I thought to myself, I am just brewing somebody else's beer here. It's already pre-made. They've done all the hard work. It's just in a syrup now. All I have to do is add the water. Let me grab a beer. And yeah, so I started adding extra hops to these kits. And then I'm like, I need more. I need more fulfillment out of it. Because I was getting really good results with the extra hops, but I didn't quite understand the hopping process. So I learned a little bit more about that. And, you know, it's been a long time coming. I've been brewing since 2019. But I only started the YouTube channel in June of 2021. So... yeah, good on you, Ray. I think that's good, mate. I like the fact that you've just gone... if you've already got a common understanding of brewing mead, you're already halfway there, because you understand to sanitize absolutely everything that's going to come in contact with your beer. Because if you don't, you'll just screw it up, you know? So anyway, for those that are only just joining us, we have got this, which is the New England IPA, which is Bash. Recipe for this isn't on my YouTube channel, because this is a recipe of a collaboration between a local brewery and the place I buy my grain from. New England IPA, 6.9%. It really is magic. Do you know if you got served that in a pub after ordering a pint of craft beer, this would cost you about £7 in the UK. You know, it's that good. We got the blue, the raspberry and blueberry sour. We got the American IPA, which is tasting a lot better than it did actually. The hop seems to have like mellowed out a bit, although it's still really bitter. And this is the mild, the East Midlands mild. Now the fact that it's East Midlands mild is just because I'm from the East Midlands. That's the only reason. There's nothing in there that dictates that it's like got malt from this area or whatever. It's just it was brewed here, and it's just I just liked it. But this is a good beer. So I have poured all of these out so everyone could see them. So I am unfortunately just gonna have to bloody drink them all, guys. What's up, mutant? How you doing, Rife? You alright, mate? Congrats. I can't watch as my son is here. He recently dislocated his shoulder chasing a squirrel out of his garden. Oh my gosh. Well, I hope he gets better soon, dude. That's not what you want to know, is it? I hope your son's better soon, dude. I don't think I've ever dislocated anything. I've broke a toe before. That hurt a bit. I've crashed into a couple of trees whilst mountain biking. That's never fun. So I'm going to drink this American IPA. Again, it's very hop forward with the bitterness. It's there straight away. And then there's like a maltiness. What I should probably do is drink one and then drink another instead of just keep bitting and bobbing from each one. So what's everybody else brewing then? What are you brewing next? Like I say, mine's going to be this Botanic Ale. I have absolutely no idea how it's going to turn out. But that's half of the fun of it. Now this one's going to be fermented ever so slightly higher as well. Because it's using a Saison yeast, they tend to give off certain flavours, which you only get when you brew at a higher temperature. So this is going to be brewing at 24 degrees instead of the normal 20. So I'll probably just have that in the kitchen on the floor, or maybe on the kitchen at the side, and just move it around accordingly depending on how warm it gets or whatever. You can piss off, Mr. Fly. You are not having this American IPA. It is all mine. Why is it everywhere I go I get inundated by flying insects? Even on my other channel, Walk Cook Walk, where I just go for a walk, cook some grubs in the woods and just chill out. Nice bit of headspace, you know, just away from the maddening crowd, as I always say. But I'm always getting bothered by bees and all sorts. There's always fruit flies in here, man. Do my boxing. But if you ever do get fruit flies, here's a tip for you. Leave a small amount of beer in a glass. They will go straight to it and drown. But they'll be happy before they drown. So it's all right. Now, I'm not sure what YouTube's policy is on listening to music whilst doing a live. I don't think you're allowed to, unless you've got the rights to the music, because I always think, you know, it'd be nice to have a little bit of background music. Now, I've got a CD from a band that I used to go and watch. They were a local band. They never really got big or anything like that, but they were really good, called This Human Condition. And they were so good. And I went to see them a couple of times, and I'm not sure whether their music's copyrighted. So I was thinking, could I get away with playing that? But the thing is, what I don't want to do is have somebody else's music on here, pardon me, and then have the video like cancelled, or, you know, get a strike against my account or whatever, because that's not what it's about. It's definitely not about getting strikes against your account. I mean, when I upload, so obviously my editing skills are minimal. You do not need crazy editing skills to be able to publish videos on YouTube. You don't really need any skills. You just kind of need to find something you like doing, tap into it, and do it a lot, because it's repetition that gets the views. Do you know what I mean? Because someone might see you one time, and then the next time, because you haven't put a video out for so long, they won't see you again for a while. Pardon me. But what I will say is be patient and stay determined, because it does take a long time. Like, so I've been going 4 years, and I've, like I say, I've got 478 subscribers, 478 I think, and we've clocked over 80,000 views. I'm sure it was like 80.5 something thousand views, which that's pretty impressive. Even I was impressed with that. And I like stats as well. I like to see what's going on. But the thing is, I'll never bend to, like, you never see me dancing one of those stupid flipping trends where they're all like doing all that flipping heart shape. I nearly did it then as well, didn't I? You won't see me doing that. Nah, I'm not no one's dancing monkey, man. I just come here, I do my beer, I do my mead, and that's it. You know, you get some, like, I'm not trying to disrespect anybody, but I saw this guy on a live feed with a toilet thing around his flipping head, running a car over the top of his head, repeating himself again and again and again. And I was just like, wow, is that what people do to, like, earn money these days? I'd rather not earn money and keep myself, just self-respect, man. But the crazy thing is, he had like 200 people watching his feed. Like, okay, strange, but who is watching this shit? Who's making him carry on flipping doing it? What a poor soul. If he ever has kids, they're going to grow up and they're going to see that crap. Because when it's on the internet, it's there forever. Now, I try and make sure that nobody can borrow my content, because there's a lot of things out there where you've seen it on the person's channel and then you'll then see it on another channel and you think, well, why are you posting it when it's their content? That bothers me, but I do know that you can, what's it called? Remix. You can remix things. Now, I'll let people remix audio, but I won't let them remix my video. I don't want them to, you know? I think it should stay authentic. I think it should stay how I wanted it to be. But as I was saying anyway, yeah, my editing skills, sorry, I just go off on a tangent. My editing skills are very basic. I do everything on my phone. It's recorded on my phone, edited on my phone, and obviously music, all the apps gets done through my phone. And I actually use the music that I use for my long format videos. That is actually built into Apple Music. It's iMovie, which is the app that I use. It's very, very simple. It's basic. It doesn't allow for crazy different effects and stuff like that. Like the other day, I went onto TikTok to promote my latest video, and I pressed something, and it wouldn't let me turn it off. So there was flipping. It was slowing down and then warping in and warping out, and I'm like, oh my gosh, what is this? And I'm like, I'm never clicking anything again. I mean, the first couple of times I was doing a live, I think I was pressing these buttons at the side here, and I was just like, holy shit. So, are you still there, Ray? Would you like to join and do a split screen? Probably caught you off guard, mate, but you're quite often on my lives, mate, so I thought I might extend the invitation to you. I know you're not a nuisance. You're not going to cause me any grief. And hopefully you've got clothes on. We don't need no naked people. That American IPA, I'd definitely brew that again. I'd probably go for more Citra in it, though, because it has got a very dank... I've had to put it down because I just keep drinking it. It's a very dank bitterness, and I think it could be a lot more juicy at the end. What does this button do? I'm doing it again, look. No, that's not the one. So how the sod hell do you invite somebody then? What's this button? Highlight saved to your channel as unlisted video. What? I don't know what that is. Plus, what's the plus do? Start a poll, start a question and answers. Oh my gosh. Chat settings, chat filter. Show every message including potential spam. Yeah, sod it, we'll see every message. I don't give a shit. If someone wants to spam me, it doesn't bother me at all. Quite like spam. Specially prepared American meat. So what's this here? Green screen. Oh shit. Look what I'm doing, guys. So is that the picture of the beers behind me? It flipping is as well. Check me learning how to use a green screen. That's one of my beers there, look. Oh shit. And while we're at it, I might as well show you this picture I took the other day. Look at that. That's pretty sweet, isn't it? I always go for a walk on Wednesdays. And look at this. Yeah, I got some photography skills. Yeah, but let's go back to normal now. Sorry about that. I just pressed the button. I think I've pressed that before, but I just forgot what it was. But I'm sure you're able to invite people in. I think you might have to do it at the beginning. At the beginning. That one flips the mic round, the camera round. That one flips. That one turns the mic off. Yeah, I don't think I could do it anyway, Ray. You'll have to let me know one time if you did want to, and then we shall arrange it. But yeah, happy birthday, Fermented World. I'm just made up that it's started gathering steam. Now the thing is to never make money from this. It was never the intention, because it's my want to just archive masses and masses and masses of recipes, so people that just have a place where they can just go if they're thinking, I wonder if you could do this, and they type it in #FermentedWorld, they type in blueberry sizer, and there you go, Fermented World Gaz has tried it. You know, a blueberry sizer, that could be pretty damn good actually. Blueberries and fermented apple juice with loads of honey. I should write this down, shouldn't I? Most definitely should, but I've never got a bloody pen when I need one. Sodding kids always nick them. I swear I'm going to sellotape one to my face. This flipping My Little Pony pencil is going to have to cut the mustard. Because that did sound pretty good. Let's actually make the recipe now. I'm going to do the recipe whilst live. So it's going to be a sizer. So we're going to need at least 3 litres of apple juice. Now I just use the cheap apple juice because you're going to be fermenting it. If you were then going to back sweeten with apple juice, I would then use a more expensive apple juice. So 3 litres of apple juice. We're going to use 1 pot of honey, which will be, I use 720 pots, so 720 grams of blossom honey. For anyone wondering what I'm doing, I'm just quickly putting a recipe together that I thought of whilst on a live. So we're going to be doing a blueberry sizer, but don't tell anyone because I want to do it first. See, I'm very secretive with my brews. Now there was a couple of people on Instagram who used to get a bit of an insight because I used to talk to them quite a bit. Not people I know personally, but just people that have followed me for quite a long time on Instagram. I'm not sure whether they watch on the channel anyway, but if you do, hello. And then we're going to have like, I don't know, like say 300 grams of blueberries. I think that's what we will go for in the ferment. Blueberries. Now, how apple and blueberries though, would that actually go together? Well, there's one way to find out, isn't there? Throw it in a bucket and chuck some sodding yeast on it. Is the chat broken, guys? Is the chat not working? Because everyone's gone very quiet. Pardon me. Blueberry cider, 3 litres of apple juice, some blossom honey, blueberries. Now, I think you might need more blueberries. Or should we try and get some blueberry juice? I might say all blueberry juice. It won't be yet that I do it because I've got a couple on the go in my mind at the moment. Juice. Well, it's written down anyway, so I'll not forget as long as I don't lose that piece of paper, which I don't. Hopefully, I don't lose because that's for the next beer, which might be tomorrow. Now, I did think about doing a live for an entire brew, but I just think that that will be so damn boring because there's like 5 hours of, well, in total it takes 5 hours, but there's intervals in between that I'm not doing anything, so I'd have to be there just like talking for the sake. But then again, I suppose I could just end it at certain points and then bring it back. No, I don't think so. I think it'll just be a bit too stressful to try and coordinate that as well as remember what I'm trying to do. Because brewing beer is a lot harder than brewing mead. Beer, you've got to be at certain places, certain times. Mead, throw it in a bucket, chuck some yeast at it, slap it a bit, and then off it bloody goes. Mead is so simple. I mean, I say that, but obviously mine's only homebrew. I'm not brewing it for the masses. I have had some absolute incredible bottles of mead. One of them was from Lancashire Mead Company, and they had one called the Three Norns or Nords. All of their beer, all of their meads have something to do with like a Viking kind of thing. I think it was Nords, and they're some sort of protectors of something or other. I did know, but I forget things so easily these days. They were really good. Expensive, £35 a bottle, but they were really good meads. We started drinking, I say we, me and my mate started drinking one by Lime Bay Winery. They do a mead, and it's mighty fine, man. It really is good. It's basic, it's probably about 15 quid, but it's really, really nice. Now, I had one from Wye Valley, might be brewery. I don't think it's meadery, I think it's brewery. And it was just their traditional mead, and it was the best mead I've ever tasted in my life. I could like feel the crystals of this honey as I was drinking it. It was just phenomenal mead, it really was. It was just so flipping good. Right, that's the American IPA gone. I think we'll have a bit of raspberry and blueberry sour. So do you guys drink sours? Some people aren't fans of sours. Some people really, really don't like them. I can't drink too much of them because I get a bit of reflux. Same with stouts and other dark beers. If I drink too many of them, I get a bit kind of thing. And it's not too pretty. But yeah, that is pretty. Raspberry and blueberry. Now what I need to do is the next sour that I make, I'm going to buy something. Was it malic acid? No, citric acid. Something or other. You add that to the beer and it makes it even more. Is it malic acid? Anyway, the yeast that I used was called Philly Sour, which is a nice yeast. Nice yeast. It's a nice yeast. But it doesn't really give a massive amount of sourness. So I need to find... I've looked it up already, but I just can't remember what it's bloody called. To add something else to it to make it even more sour, because I thought the raspberries and the blueberries would give it that bit more of a tartness, but it really didn't do much for it. But yeah, all in all, I would definitely brew that again, but I would like it more sour. I'd probably put more fruit in as well, because I think you need a hell of a lot of fruit in fruited beers, simply because it ferments them. Most of the sugars that are in fruit is what gives you the flavour. Pardon me. So that's why, people put tons and tons of fruit. That's good. The chat seems to have dropped off. Is it because chat filter, top messages, none, hide all chat messages, show most messages with potential spam removed? I don't know, maybe just people aren't talking. Maybe I'm overthinking it. But yeah, happy birthday, Fermented World. I do try not to swear on my channel. You'll probably note that I do try and take any profanity that might have been in there out of it, because I always think that if people are sat watching this in their living room and they've got children around, they don't need to hear people swearing and stuff like that. I mean, I swear like an absolute trooper. I do. I swear when I'm sad. I swear when I'm cross. I swear when I'm happy. Yeah, I just swear. I'm not proud of it, but I do. But obviously, I don't want it on this, so to speak. But yeah, that raspberry is really good, man. So I do have another mead that's coming up soon. I've actually got two. What one is it? The apple and mango? Apple and orange mead. That one's going to be put into secondary soon. I put 3 into secondary recently. The organic honey, the normal honey, there's 4 of them, sorry. The Aceglin, which is a maple syrup mead. They are next level amazing. And then there's the Hydromel, which is a low ABV mead. Now, it's the first Hydromel that I've done, so it'll be interesting to see how it actually goes. Now, the Aceglin, I didn't record it, but I actually have to put some more fermentation stoppers in it because it's still flipping bubbling away. What's your favourite type of honey to use for your meads? So it all depends, right? So I ferment with the cheaper stuff because I don't think that you're particularly gaining much from using expensive honey to then ferment all the sugar. So I use a cheap, well, I say cheap, it's not the cheapest, it's the one up from the cheapest. Blossom honey is the one that I use as a base. It's about £4 for 720 grams. So, if you use 2.5 of them, you could probably be about a tenner for your fermented honey. And then obviously you might, that'll be all of your honey. That'll be the fermented honey, and then obviously the honey that you put in after. Now, out of all of the honeys I have ever used, there is one that is absolutely phenomenal. Buckwheat honey. Now, I did something called a Trojniak. It's spelled Trojniak. It's a Polish mead. Now, they've got something different for the way that they do their meads. They have it so that it's in ratios like 1 part water, 3 parts honey, and say 3 parts water, 1 part honey is a different type of mead. They have 4 different types. There's a Trojniak, a Dozhniak. I can't remember the others. I bloody Googled it the other day as well. And this buckwheat honey, mate, oh my flipping good night. It was amazing. I've never tasted anything like it. It was dark. It was extremely strong in potency and flavour, but it was just next level, man. Yeah, check out the Trojniak, hashtag Fermented World Trojniak. Now that was like, oh God, it must be 3 years ago. It must be, but the honey is expensive. So what I do this time, I'd do differently, is I would ferment with cheaper honey, which is what I've learned over time, and then I would back sweeten with whatever honey I wanted it flavoured with. So I do like eucalyptus honey. Now you can, I don't know where you're from, Trommer, but you can get that in shops like Lidl and Aldi in the UK. So if you're say if you're in the UK, then you know you could possibly get that, or and I'm sure obviously because they're a foreign brand, aren't they? Aren't they German? Aldi, German or Austrian? I can't remember now. I know they're like European, aren't they? Because we always get all their stuff in. They get their stuff imported, which is why it's a bit cheaper. But you can get that eucalyptus honey in there. Dude, I'm going to have to try making a mead with buckwheat honey. Do a small batch of it. So, is this going to be your first mead? Pardon me, Trommer. Is it going to be your first mead? Or have you brewed a couple in the past? Acacia honey as well. That's a nice honey. It's from the acacia tree. It's got a really delicate flavour. So I probably wouldn't put it with any fruits. Because you're probably not going to get much of the flavour of the honey. So here's a random fact. I've got this book. Well, I had this book. I had it out last time I was doing a lot. No, not last time, because last time was earlier on. The time before that, I had it out. Can't sod and find it. It's called The Big Book of Mead, and it just goes to explain that there's a type of honey for every plant imaginable. Imagine that. Every plant imaginable, or flower, sorry, has a type of bee that will specifically go to that thing, that one plant, and produce honey. Mental. No, I've brewed a few in the past, especially during COVID. Yeah, brilliant, mate. That's exactly what got me started with the whole homebrewing thing. It was COVID. I'm not sure if you've heard this story before, but some of you would have. But my mum bought me one of these liquid malt extract beer kits with a bucket and all the stuff that I needed to brew this beer. And I put it off. And then COVID hit, and I was like, I need something to do inside the house. And it was like homebrew. It was like, oh! It was just like amazing. And then I'm there like, I brewed this beer. Once we were allowed to then meet up with people, I was like, hey, come round. We can meet up outside the gate, as long as we're far away from each other. And I passed out the beers. Everyone tried it. And they were like, Gaz, that's pretty good, man. And I was like, do you know what? It's going to get better. And it was just like a progression. And before you know it, it's, you know, you get wacky ideas, you know, like I made a mead. I said to my mate, I says, dude, if you could have anything in a mead, what would you have? And he was like, chocolate marshmallow. I was like, are you for real, dude? Chocolate and marshmallow. I was like, how do you expect me to make a chocolate and marshmallow mead? And he's like, I don't know, you just asked me, so that's what I thought about it. I was like, right, I'm going to do it. So I tried it. It was called Mash and Mo. I'm not sure if it was just marshmallow meat. I can't remember. It might be hashtag Mash and Mo. I really don't know. It might be in there somewhere. But yeah, I mean, didn't get any of the marshmallow flavour, but we did get a hell of a lot of chocolate, because I ended up having to put dark chocolate in just to get a little bit of flavour from there. That's an awesome backstory on how you got into homebrew. You went down the homebrew rabbit hole. It's fun. It is a great hobby, man. It keeps me so busy. It's one of those where you can pick it up and put it down as well. It's not constant brewing, because there's different stages, which is why my content, right, is never going to be every day, because I don't have something to say every single day, because I'm only going to upload when I've got a video that's credible, you know, when it's something that I've done where it's a stage of the brewing and whatever. You're right, Gov. How you doing, dude? I hope you're well, mate. But yeah, it is one of those where it's definitely sporadic as to where the uploads come, because some days you'll be waiting for it, and sometimes you're like, I can't be asked to bottle it. With beer, you have to bottle it. There's literally like a time lapse where you actually have to bottle it. Otherwise, you lose all the particles in there, the yeast particles that are going to then ferment the little bit of sugar that you put in, that's going to then carbonate it. I think we're going to go for the East Midlands mild now. But yeah, it definitely was a bit of a rabbit hole, and it was quite a long learning curve as well. But now, a lot of you don't know me personally, but I am a very, very determined guy. Like, you know, if I think I can do something, I will do it until I can't. You know, for example, right, was at my mum's, me and the kids was at my mum's, and one of them had an idea to start making some bread. I was like, okay, cool. I've never made bread before. Let's make some bread. Got my mum's old ass cooking book out. And this cooking book, the way it was worded, it made it sound like there was double the amount in this thing, this recipe. And I kind of just, cheers, dude, yeah. And I kind of just like, I was like, no, because if you read it like this, look, this is what it says. My daughter, my mum, they were against me. They were like, nope. My oldest son, he was like, yeah, but if you use correct English, it does sound like they're saying to use double this amount. So I didn't think I was wrong until I was wrong. Until I'd actually tried and failed. That's when I knew I couldn't do it. But it didn't stop me, because, you know, I'll try it again. But I knew that at that moment in time that I was wrong. Different types of bread. You see, as a rule, I try not to eat bread. I don't believe it's very good for us. I do eat bread, but I prefer like flat bread. Have you ever seen the Outdoor Boys on YouTube? The guy's like a survival expert in Alaska, and he does this flipping honey butter bread. Oh my gosh, it is next level. It's just a simple flatbread that he cooks on a fire, and he puts honey butter on it. It's legendary, dude. Absolutely legendary. You should go check that out. Honey butter. You might even find my other channel on there as well. I started another channel called Walk Cook Walk, and basically at the weekend, just for a bit of like a relaxing time, I'll just piss off into the woods. Excuse the language, I do try not to swear on here, but I just go off to the woods, and I'll take all like some gear in a backpack with a camping stove, set up a seat, and I'll just sit there and I'll just cook myself some lunch in the middle of the woods. No one around, you know. One time we knew it was going to rain, and a mate was coming with me, and we just sat underneath this tarp, and he says to me, he says, oh, it doesn't look like it's going to rain, Gaz. And I was like, yeah, but the weather says that it is, so I'm going to set the tarp up anyway, mate. And we were lucky we did, because it absolutely hammered it down, and we just sat underneath this tarp, dry as fook, sat there just chilling out, cooking some grub. I think that was a shakshuka, which is like tomatoes, mince, and poached egg. Yeah, dude, mate. It's a guy called Luke, and he doesn't post anymore. So his stuff is like he amassed like what 3 million followers, subscribers, and you know, it kind of got to him and his family because they were like, because he put his kids and his family on the videos, they were kind of not targets. I don't want to say targets, but they were kind of in the line of fire, so to speak. You know, because there's plenty of nutters out there, but he was having people come up to him in the street, wanted to take pictures, and you know, he didn't quite like the amount of people that were coming up to him, and he just turned around one day and he says, blah 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 blah, everyone's copying my content, like, you know, the reposting of things. Like I said earlier on, I don't let people repost my stuff. I do not let them remix it, because I don't think that they should be able to. You know, it should stay the way that I wanted it to be, instead of them putting some other crappy music to it. You know, because if I've got some heavy metal riff going on like do, 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 and they put flipping Barbie Girl on while I'm mixing a mead, it's not going to be too good, is it? You know, I think for credibility reasons, that's why he just shut it all down, and he stopped doing it. Yeah, it's a shame though to get to the point where the dude was too famous to walk that YouTube famous though to walk down the street. Now I don't expect my channel will ever get that far. You know, I'm not even bothered if it doesn't. It really doesn't bother me. Mate, I tell you what, I'll put it on my next video. I do not give a flying Scotsman, mate. I really don't. I'm so immature, it's unbelievable, right? So, for example, me and my daughter went to go pick up her glasses, and I had to pop into the shop to get something. So as we're going past this window to this estate agent's, I banged on the window and I just turned to my daughter. I was like, run! I don't give a shit. Anything for a laugh, man. Life's just too short to give a shit about anything other than family. You know, I've got friends that are so close to me that they are family. That's all that matters. You know, the people that surround you, that's what matters. I mean, I'm grateful to be able to have this portal to sit and chat to people and educate people. That's what I like to think. I like to think I'm an educator. Educate people into brewing their own alcohol instead of putting money in the tax man's pocket all the fucking time. Because the duty that you spend on beer, wine, meat, obviously wine's even more expensive because the higher the ABV, yeah, the more duty you have to pay. But I'm so immature. Exactly, mate. I always think to myself, tomorrow is not guaranteed. There's a saying I live by, carpe diem. Seize the day. Be a dick today because you may not be here to be a dick tomorrow. You know, you just have to laugh. You have to laugh because, you know, otherwise just... So my life's quite fast paced. So I very rarely sit down and do nothing. He says, sat down doing pretty much nothing. But I'm always out with the dog, brewing a mead, bottling a mead, recording a video, out in the woods. You know, we've got 4 kids, so I'm running around after them when they're off and stuff like that. I've got dinner to cook in the evenings. You know, I'm a full-time carer, so I could have to like stop what I'm doing no matter what I'm doing. Like even if I was halfway through a brew day, I would have to shut that shit down and get my ass to the school quickly to go and help my daughter. So it's one of those things that you just got to just live life while you've got it, you know. Not everybody's as what's the word, fortunate. Yeah, definitely. Anyway, Trommer, where are you from, dude? I think you're like the only one in here, mate. Where are you from? I always wonder where my subscribers are. I think a lot of them are from America. There's a few of them from the UK, and I think one chap, I can't remember his name now, something Singh, was from India. Just randomly came on like, hello, how you doing? Greetings from India. I was like, yeah, man, that's awesome. I don't know how YouTube puts you out there, you know. Yeah. I think if I understood the algorithm a bit better, I'd probably be doing better, but I'm not bothered about doing better. I'm quite happy with just steadily, gradually growing momentum. Yeah, sweet, man. So do you brew beer as well? Any cider or anything like that? Have you tried a sake? Sake? Japanese rice wine. I've tried one of them. That was questionable. It had alcohol in. Well, one of them had alcohol in. One of them tasted like if you'd wore the same pair of socks for about 6 months, then got them wet, then tried to dry them on a radiator, and then wore them again for another 6 months. That's what that one tasted like. The other one tasted like fermented rice, but it also had a peculiar sweetness to it, like it hadn't finished fermenting out properly. Now, I had bought some sake to try so that I could try and compare, but because I'm a bit of an idiot and I wanted the best at sake, I bought one that had been aged in barrels, so it had more of a tannic kind of taste, an oaky taste to it, so it wasn't really true to the flavour, so I wouldn't have even known if it was. Yeah, they're so weird because they've got a dual fermentation, because you've got the koji, which the koji is the part that, let me get this right, you create a koji which has 2 types of yeast in, so to speak, because one of them is what converts the starch into sugar, and then the yeast part of it is what converts the sugar into alcohol. So it's like a dual fermentation. It's absolutely mental. Now, I only did it because I saw a couple called Brian and Derica from City Steading. If you haven't seen them, go and check them out. I mean, if you're from the US, you probably have. Now, they're the guys that inspired me to start a YouTube channel, because they were just so knowledgeable, and you know, and I got to the point where I was like, yeah, I kind of know a little bit now. I might record it. I'll post it, see what happens. You know, and over time, okay, at first it was slow, yeah, but over time, you know, got a couple of people interacting and subscribers started coming in. I'm not bothered about likes. I don't follow that shit. Comments, I do like comments. I like when people interact. So, like, you know, if somebody doesn't know something, I like knowing the answer. And if I don't know the answer there and then, I'll Google it to find out the answer. But if it's not my answer from me, my soul, I will say Google says, and then I'll put the answer. Yeah, the koji was a weird compared to making beer. Well, yeah, I've still got some of the rice leaven packets, and I'm just not even sure what to bloody do with them, dude. That's where I saw it first, on their channel. Oh, they're so good, dude. They are so bloody good. Brian and Derica, yep, absolute legends, man. They taught me so much. See, my Viking's blood is a variation of their Viking's blood, but mine. So the first one I did was a lot like theirs, but I think I used a different honey. And then obviously I thought I'm going to try it a different way, and then I tried it another way, and I think 3.0, number 3, I think that was the best one for me. And a mate of mine, Ginge, hope you're watching, Ginge, he's actually just finished brewing the 3.0 version of my mead. And yeah, he's absolutely away with it. He loves it. Hopefully he's going to drop me a bottle by, because that'd be cool. But even then, I learnt what an aceglin was from them. I learned what a metheglin was from them. You know, all that kind of jazz, all the different styles of mead, I learnt from them. Yes, man, Capsumel, yeah. I've never done one with just chili in. I'm so like, I feel the need to complicate things. You know, I always feel the need to make them more complicated than they are. Like add this, this, and this, and this, and this, and this, and this, instead of just be like, why not just try this? You know. So yeah, I always a Capsicumel. Yeah. So a chili mead. Yeah, I have, mate. But I've done them with summer berries. So it was a mix of like raspberries, strawberries, and I think red currants with some chilies in, and that was really good. Then I did a mango and habanero. So if you ever want to try a mango and habanero, I've got the bangingest recipe, dude. I shit you not. It is absolute fire. There is just enough kick from it that you'll be like, whew, but there's the sweetness of the mango and the honey that's in there just balances it out nicely. All it does is it gets you in your throat a little bit. It's quite spicy, don't get me wrong. I mean, I'm a sucker for spice. I absolutely love it. And the other one I did is what I call dragon's blood. Ooh, mate. Cherries. It did originally have... Woo! It did originally have cayenne peppers, which I'd grown myself. I'm actually growing some again. I've got my little plants over here. I need to separate them because I keep forgetting. I've actually got some cress growing there as well, but I think that's dead because it dried out. But I've got some chilies here, look, which are, they're growing all right on the windowsill. But I most definitely do need to repot them, separate them, and put them into single pots. But anyway, yeah. So originally, as I was saying, it had cayenne in, or cayenne, however you say it. I thought it was cayenne, but yeah, I say cayenne. And it had, I think I put 3 cayenne peppers in, only into a gallon batch. So about 4.5 UK litres, which I think your guys is like 380 something, 368 or something like that. No, yours is nearly 4 litres, isn't it? Anyway, that's by the by. So it's pardon me. It wasn't spicy enough. That is awesome. Is it hard? No, mate, no. You literally just stick the seeds in the soil, bang it on your windowsill, water it. I think at first you put a bit of like cling film over it or some clear plastic to keep the moisture in. Yeah, I did do that, yeah. And then once they start seeding, once they start sprouting, you take the cling film off and just water them like, you know, maybe once every 3 days, depending on how hot your climate is. I mean, in America, it's a little bit hotter than it is in the UK. But that's just on the windowsill facing the sun. So it does get a good portion of the sun. But I'll use them for cooking because they're not all that spicy, cayenne pepper. I'm going to bring out a calculator to convert things. Yeah. There is always that conversion, isn't there? But there's a lot of books, you know, homebrew books like these, or some of the older ones. Sorry, the older books seem to have conversions in. But as I was saying, this meat. What you say, dude? Next time I'm out, I'll see if I can grab some cayenne peppers to grow. Oh, they're lovely, dude. I put cayenne pepper on everything. Like most people will put black pepper on everything. I put cayenne pepper on everything. Like I put it in a sandwich. I don't give a shit. I put it in a bloody sandwich, mate. I love it. I do love it that much. But anyway, as I was saying, cherries, a boatload of cherries, and it wasn't spicy enough with these cayenne peppers. Pardon me. So I threw in a Scotch bonnet. half a Scotch bonnet, sorry. It was half a Scotch bonnet. Now, I don't know whether you've ever tried a Scotch bonnet, dude, but that is the spiciest thing that I can handle. It is the... it's the line for me. I thought, you know what? I'll try a slice whilst recording this. So the tiniest flipping slither of it, dude. The flavour was amazing. The dancing around like an absolute lunatic because of the spice was not amazing at all. But I still put half of one in a gallon batch. Now, if I was to brew it again, I would probably put half of one in a 2-gallon batch. Because it was ever so slightly too intense. But I think it made it what it was at the same time. So I'll have to and ah if I come back to do that. But that was called Dragon's Blood. Hashtag Fermented World Dragon's Blood. It was really good, dude. It was so good. I mean, it catches you off guard because of how spicy it is. Pardon me. Yeah, grow some peppers, dude. Yeah, man, that thing is like eating mace. Police deploy at parties and they get out of hand. That's the fun stuff about homebrewing. You can create. And you know what? Somebody said to me, I don't even know whether they were a subscriber or whether they were just passing through, and it might have even been on Instagram. They might have just said, might have been Instagram, and they just said, I love how you just throw everything in a bucket, throw some yeast in and see what happens. And that is half of it. You know, I'm not trying to diss anybody or insult anybody at all, but some people that I see and watch and follow, they just get too hung up on things and they get too wordy. Like, you know, like, I don't know, I can't, like they zone out talking about the aromatic flavors of the la-ti-da, and I just can't be like that, because I know it sounds rash, right, but I don't care enough. I know that's like a horrible thing to say about my own brews and my own channel, but I'm not that bothered, you know what I mean? When I throw it all in, I'm doing it because I want to see what happens. If I get a drinkable beverage, that's a flipping result. If it's good, I'll flipping share it with people. Hello, how you doing? Monastery Sunday. Monaster? Or is it monastery? Might be Monastery Sunday. Hello, how are you doing? I am a man looking for a man. Well, well done for you. I am a man not looking for a man. Jog on, lad. Bad Animation, I'm back, baby. Hello, Bad Animation. How you doing? Have you recovered from your slight hangover? Hopefully so. But yes, do try that Dragon's Blood. That was really, really good. I think I have actually. I saw the Scotch bonnet in the cupboard earlier on. Sorry, in the freezer earlier on, freezer drawer, and I was like, I haven't actually done just just chilies in it. See, I like the Scotch bonnet because even though it gives you that fire, that like insane fire, it also gives you a really, really, really nice, it's like a sweetness before it, you know? It tricks you into thinking that it's going to be amazing, and then it's like, nope, screw you, it's going to be absolutely horrid. That's exactly what I like about the home brewing hobby. It's a big what if I do this and mix it with this ingredients. Yeah, it's all about pissing about, dude. Trying this and trying that. There's no rule book, you know. There's gatekeepers. That's what I was trying to say. There's gatekeepers out there that think that this is the way to do it, and there's no other way to do it. And well, there is, because I do it differently. So there is. You break the mold. Don't just be like, don't be sheep. That's the worst thing you can do with any hobby, is be a sheep and just follow everybody. Then sometimes you find an awesome creation to share with friends and family at parties. See, I've never actually taken any of mine to a party. No, that'd be pretty decent to do, actually. I've invited people round and shared some. So I suppose that's the same thing. Gonna add that Dragon Blood to my list of stuff to brew. And it keeps growing every day. Yep. I mean, I've lost lists of stuff that I want to brew. I had like loads of ideas, and because I put them in like little flip pads about the size of this, about the size of that, and then they all just disappeared. I've got a couple more beers in the brew line as well. We've got, I think I said this last time, we're going to do a barley wine, which is really just an extremely high ABV beer. But you see, barley wine is kind of like misplaced now, because a barley wine used to be a beer that was like above 10%, but now you get some beers that are way above 10%. Yeah, Dragon's Blood's definitely one of the good ones, dude. Right, so that's the East Midlands Massive gone. Sorry, East Midlands Mild. East Midlands Massive is just one of the, that's like a little piss take of the ute them that walk around with balaclavas on, and they just think they're all flipping gangsters, but they're not. So this is what I'm finishing on. I'm finishing on the bash, which is absolutely lovely. I can't share the ingredients for this though, because unfortunately it's not my recipe. I have, however, done a beer that was called, what was it bloody called? Coin flip. And I literally flipped a coin to see what part. I held two recipes next to each other that I'd already previously brewed, both really good beers. One of them was bash and the other one was a double IPA by Shiny Brewery, and it was called Praise the Sun, and it was like really dark golden, almost red colour. It was flipping awesome. And what I did is I flipped a coin, and then if it landed on heads, it'd be the one on the left. If it landed on tails, it'd be one on the right. So this is how I went down, like each thing on it, and I'd choose this, and I even did it with the hops as well. So I'd flip the coin with the malt, flip the coin with the hops. So it was the most random thing that you'd ever imagined, and it bloody well worked. It just worked, and it was good, just like that. Coin flip, that one was called. But like I say, there's a massive archive. But what I have started to do is I've started to create playlists, or try and create playlists, so that if somebody's interested in one specific thing, for example, if you wanted the Aceglin, you wanted to follow that from start to finish, I'd put all 3 videos for it into a playlist. So it'd start when you load the first one, it'd be Aceglin, it'd be like brewing an Aceglin, and then it'd be like Aceglin into secondary, and then the third video would be like bottling the Aceglin. So you got them all there in one go, so you could watch them in one foul swoop and know what to expect. Because the only other problem with is if you start brewing something that I'm brewing and then mine screws up, there's a possibility yours might screw up. So I'm always a bit dubious about releasing the recipes like that. But I also think, well, sod it. Do you know what I mean? Sod it. It's another video for people to sit and watch and stuff like that. And I mean, I sit and watch other people's videos. A lot of the time I watch camping videos because I like that stuff. I like being outdoors, and like somebody made something called a hobo stove, and it's literally just a can, right? A can. This is not a sponsored can, by the way, just to let you know. And they cut this part out, right? These are called UK Nomads. Go check them out. Nice bunch of chaps. One lad called Mod and a girl called Tara. Right, they just live a free life. They live in the woods. It's amazing. Yeah, absolutely amazing, the concept of it. But anyway, they cut this piece out. Then they measure 3 fingers. And then they cut there. And then what they do is they like press down this bit into like a star. Let's imagine that I've done this like 6 times instead of just 4, right? Push it down, making these like things, and then you use it as like a flipping stove, using like, you know, like bioethanol, because like burning alcohol, and they make a little flipping stove out of it to cook the flipping dinner on. I was like, wow, dude, I love that shit. Absolutely love it. So yeah, celebrating 4 years, man. 4 years of uploading. Does not seem that long ago, but it clearly is. It's a cool coin flip to choose. Dude, you can get a variety doing that. Yeah, you could do it with the same 2 recipes and get something totally different the next time because of the different hop choices and stuff like that. So if that hops particularly was for 30 minutes, but the one before that was already 30 minutes, you just half the amount of hops that each one had. Do you get what I mean? Because otherwise you're going overboard. Yes, yeah, it's brilliant, mate. Cheers to you, dude. What are you drinking? Yeah, it does. It seems like a long time ago, but it doesn't seem like. It's because, right, it's easy. I know that sounds like stupid, but it's not difficult to create videos. Because all you do is tell people the facts that you know. If you know something, you know something. Simple as that. And people often search YouTube to find things. The amount of times I'm playing a video game and I'm like, what the sodding hell am I supposed to do? I'll run around for 20 minutes and then I'll be like, and then I'll have to look to see what it is. Saison, I do love saisons. Again, it's a style of beer that's like, you know, there's a very small market for it. You might have, out of a handful of breweries, you might have 3 of them that do one, you know, or that you might have 2 that do one. Now, obviously, being from the US, I bet you can get Brooklyn Brewery's beers. Now, we've literally had one of their, pardon me, we've had one of those saisons that they've done. Now, I've only ever tried the Brooklyn Lager, which is actually brewed over here by Carlsberg now, so it's a bit filthy. But then it's because it's mass produced, they've just kind of took it on, whatever. Fair enough to them, whatever. Then you've got some of the craft ones that they've brought in recently, which if you check the back of the tin, they're actually imported. So they're brewed at Brooklyn Brewery, or at least they're brewed somewhere else other than England. Also, you use a keg, do you? That's interesting. How do you find that? Because I just do it as basic as possible, which is why I've got like 140 odd bottles. Dude, they are good. Most people overlook them. Is that saison? Yeah. Yeah. I like the difference in the flavors that you get from them. Now, sometimes it's kind of like eating straw, like because it reminds me of a farmhouse ale, because you get those different notes because they're brewed at a higher temperature. But yeah. Oh, so flipping good. I actually wish I had more than this, but I don't. I saved a couple of bottles of each one, but I drank 2 of them the other night. So I've only got 1 American IPA left, 1 East Midlands mild. Then I've got 19 bottles of the English Pale, recipe available on the Fermented World YouTube channel. I said it right, I nearly said it right the first time. 15 bottles of kegs. Yeah. So I only do about 11.5 litres at a time. I'm not sure what that is in gallons. It's probably about 2 and a bit. No. 4 and a bit gallons. But then again, it's British gallons against US gallons. I don't know why there's all that flipping ridiculousness. We should all just be like universal. It is really good, dude. It's a craft ale. It's a New England IPA. It's fandabidozy. It's so freaking good. This little bastard wants some of it. Flipping fruit fly. Little toss pot. You're dead now, aren't you, you pisshead? It is. That's why I ended up finishing on it, dude. It's cloudy. It's fruity. It's not fruity, but it's juicy from the hops. There was a hell of a lot of hops in it. Let me see if I can find the recipe. I'll tell you what the hops are in it. I've got this big book here, look. Big bloody tub thing here, look. This is what I keep all of my brews in. These are from ones that I've brewed that are like pre-made all grain kits. And then you got a couple of them that are in there that are my own, where I've put something together. Like that was a smoked porter. That was fandabidozy, man. Please go brew that. Tell me how it is. That's my own recipe. So that's on the Fermented World YouTube. Hashtag Fermented World smoked porter. I did a cherry beer. Again, that's like a Belgian wheat beer. With loads of cherries in there. Oh my god, dude, it was just so good. And that was me trying to clone a beer called Le Chauffe, which is a Belgian beer that we get over here, and I managed to clone it so close. So the only difference between them, when I bought one from the shop and put it next to my own, the only difference between them was the original seemed to have like a little bit. You're right, dude. So yeah. Yeah, go on, mate. There's going to be a bit of noise. Dude's got to get some ice cubes out of the ice cube tray. But yeah, theirs had a bit more cherry towards the end of the flavour, but to me it tasted almost artificial in comparison to mine. So I do go off on one. I just get so excited when people, you know, enjoy homebrewing. It just elevates me. It's my passion, you know. And a mate of mine was like, why don't you get a job at a brewery? And I'm like, because then I will have to brew it. I will have to brew this. I will have to brew that. And right now I could be like, yeah, sod it. I don't want to brew it. I'll brew it another day. I'll keep that out because that's relevant. Because that's the one called Coin Flip. But I did name it something else. Where the bloody hell is it? Can't be this far down. Nah, I seem to have misplaced it, which is annoying. Maybe I was talking and not paying attention. But there's loads of them. Like I say, this is... So all these here, this massive stack, is how I managed to brew my own beers. Because I've brewed the beers, so I know what goes into them. But obviously I just make my own little swing on it. Change some of the hops and things like that. Yeah, sorry, I don't think I've got it here. I think it's in the kitchen. But anyway, it was really, really good. And I can't share the recipe anyway because it isn't mine. It wouldn't be fair, man. It's very refreshing. Mate, I don't know what temperature you kind of get in the US, but we've had some over 30 degrees here and we're just not built for it. I'm flipping ginger, dude. I just burn up like a crisp. I mean, look how, what I'd say, tanned my arm is, but that's my actual colour. You know what I mean? It's like I just can't deal with it, dude. I really can't. The only good thing about being ginger is when I'm older, my beard will go white and not grey. Somebody told me that. I was really grateful for that information. Damn, that sounds all the smoked porter. Yeah, it was so good, dude. So it uses a malt called Rauch malt, R-A-U-C-H. Rauch, I think that's how it's pronounced. And it's smoked with beech wood. You can get different, you can get them smoked with different things, but I use the one smoked with beech wood, and it was just flipping brilliant. Now, if I'd have known what I know now, it would have been better, because it would have been a lot more sweeter, and probably less bitter to let the smokiness come through more. But what happened was, the last couple of brews, one of the recipes that I took inspiration from was saying to mess around with the temperatures as you're brewing the beer. So as the beer goes into the mash, normally you do it at 65 degrees for an hour, but in this one it goes 65 degrees. I'm not sure what that is in Fahrenheit, dude. 65 degrees in, so 65 degrees for 20 minutes. Then you go 67 degrees for 20 minutes. Then you go 69 degrees for 20 minutes. And what this does is it stops the conversion of the starch into sugar, which then leaves behind. No, sorry. It stops the conversion of into fermentables. So you're basically you're left with more unfermentable sugars. So then it's, you know, it's like the backbone of a beer is the unfermentables that are in there. So if you're gonna have, so what was happening is a lot of my beers were fermenting too far out, and although I'd get more alcohol, they'd be very thin on taste. You know, like you wouldn't get like a massive amount of flavour unless you had tons of hops in there. You wouldn't get the maltiness that you kind of crave. But yeah, it was good. Yeah. So anyway, this is the coin flip. I named it something different. I named it Shiny Neon Lights because the beer was from the two recipes were from a brewery called Shiny Brewery and Neon Raptor. But anywho, this is what it's got in it. It's got crisp extra pale malt. It's got wheat malt. It's got naked oat malt. It's got chit malt. Now that's something I keep forgetting to put into beers, chit malt, because I've heard it actually helps with head retention. Flake torrefied oats, and it said here dextrose, but I don't think I put it in. The hops are Columbus again, Kashmir and Citra, then Strata and Sabro, and it used WHC Labs saturated yeast. It was such a good brew. And it was nothing like either of the brews that I took the recipe from, if you know what I mean. When I flipped the coin, it didn't create anything that tasted anything like either of them. And it was just, yeah, it was really good. Then there was quite a big dry hop, I think. yeah, there's a dry hop on day 4, which would have been 50 grams of each for a 11.5 litre batch. So 50 grams of Strata, 50 grams of Sabro. That's a lot of hops. That's 100 grams of hops in a small batch, and it just made it so like this, juicy. It's sort of juicy like that. Well, there you go. 90 minutes in. Are you guys bored of listening to me chat shit yet? Dude, I bet that was such a unique beer. All left to chance on what ingredients to use. Decent amount of hops to dry hop it. That was an insane amount of hops, dude. Now, I'm not even sure if the other one had... I don't know whether it was just chosen because that's what was in the dry hop for that specific beer, or whether I took some from that one as well. Do you get what I mean? I can't remember now. Yeah, dry hopping in brews does give it a lot of difference. It gives that extra juiciness because it's the Floyds or something, Epheloids. It's like one of the it's the oils, isn't it? Not the essential oils. What's the word? It's hop oils basically that come out of the hops and go into then the brew. Now, unfortunately, I don't have any mead ready at the moment. I really wish I did. But, yeah. It can do, yeah. So, when I add bittering hops, I put my bittering hops into something called the first runnings. So, as soon as you start to drain the wort into your main pot or chamber, however, I'm not sure what your setup is, mate, but I add it as the first bit of thing is coming before sparging. So as you let it drip through, that's when I add the hops. So the water's still like, what did you say, depending on how you finished it, it's either 65 degrees or it's 69 degrees, depending on how you brewed it. But yeah, I always add it to that for bittering hops, unless it goes in at a later date, because I find that gives you a much more rounded bitterness than it does throwing it in at 60 minutes while the thing's actually going. It brings it up to the boil, so it's like a steady bitterness. But again, I don't know anyone else who does that, but I got that from one of those things in there that there was like, yeah, do this, it makes it better. I was like, okay, tried it. I was like, it does, yes, I'll carry on doing it. Makes sense, doesn't it? To gradually bring it up to the part where it's going to be releasing the bitterness, instead of it just all of a sudden going boom, now release your bitterness. I don't know. But I am nearly done anyway. The plan was to drink. These aren't full bottles, by the way. I've not smashed a 500ml bottle of each one of these. I just poured out some into larger glasses and then popped some into these. Well, yeah. What are you brewing next then, guys? There's 2 people in here. I see you. Let me know what you're going to brew next, if you are brewing anything next. I have a mead which I, again, need to buy more peaches for, because every time I buy them, they just go off. It's going to be quite complicated. It's going to be peach, lychee, ginger, lemongrass, peach, lychee, ginger, lemongrass, and coconut. So I know that sounds ridiculously complicated, but I've had a sour beer by a brewery called Vault City Brewery, and shit on me, it was probably the nicest sour beer I've ever tasted. And I thought to myself, that would be nice, not sour. That'd be nice, sweet. So we're going to do it. We're going to see how it goes. It's probably going to cost a packet because, you know, I've had to buy the lychee because they're out of season in the UK. I went in the Asian shops, like Asian market shops, and you can't even buy them tinned now. They're all gone. So literally had to buy them dried from Amazon, so that was a bit of an expense. But at the end of the day, you know, if you want to make up stupid ideas, then you've got to pay for them, haven't you? I think I'm going to brew a wheat beer since it's hot, but plan to brew a triple. What do you mean by like a Belgian triple? I did a Belgian double that was pretty good. You should go and have a look at that recipe, dude. I think it was about 8%. And I kind of remember what beer I was trying to clone. That was the idea, to clone. It might have been the actual original Le Chauffe, you know. Oh no, it was Duvel, or is it Duvel? Duval? Really strong Belgian wheat beer. That's bloody good, that is. Or is it a wheat beer or is it a blonde beer? Not sure now. Do you get things like Hoegaarden in the US? That's a really good wheat beer. I wouldn't mind trying to clone that. That'd be good. Yeah, so mine's only a Belgian double, so you'd have to ramp it up to make it a triple. What did I call it? Double entendre. It's the craft beer geek in me. It's just, I just have to make up stupid names for things. But sometimes I don't bother because I'm just like, oh, can't be arsed. But if there's a good name, like, you know, if it comes to it and it's decent, I'll just use it. Yeah, it's not too bad, is it? Well, ladies and gentlemen, the beer is gone. I've been chatting shit now for nearly 98 minutes. I've done an oaked Bochet. I've done an oaked, either a stout or a porter when I was doing liquid malt extract kits. I have actually got some French oak, but when I first used it, I overdid it in this Bochet. If you're not sure what a Bochet is, it's where the honey gets caramelized. Now, I managed to melt a spoon, a plastic spoon. I put it down in this molten lava of honey for literally seconds, came back to it, and most of my spoon had gone. So this it had an added plastic taste. But at the end of the day, it did turn out okay. Nobody died that drank it, so it was a win. But yeah, an oaked Bochet. Again, I've never actually just done a Bochet because I always complicate things. I always think it's going to be better if it's got this, and this. So I need to write on that other piece of paper that I was writing on, don't I? I need to write Bochet with that other recipe that I put together. If you didn't hear that, do you know what a sizer is? A sizer is a mead that uses apple juice instead of water. So I'm just going to write in capitals, do a bloody Bochet, you twat. One second, guys, bear with me. Do a simple Bochet. There we go, look. do a simple bochet, you twat. And hopefully that's going to remind me when I get round to the back of that after brewing that. Hopefully tomorrow. I mean, I should have done loads of prep today, but I just couldn't be bothered. Hello, Maximilian Butner. How you doing, dude? Dude, check out Hungarian oak cubes. Very good. In between French and American. Does awesome for wine, especially cabinets. I probably said that wrong if it's French. I need to try it on some meads. See, I don't really drink wine. I can't deal with the dryness. To be honest, I don't like the dryness of wines. I like the sweetness of mead, which is why I like Pyment style of mead, because it uses the fermented grape juice, but it also isn't a wine. It's not dry. Do you know what I mean? Because you've got the sweetness in there. But yeah, Bochet, Sizer, yeah. Give them all a go, mate. There's so many different styles of mead. Yes, dude. Absolutely fan-dabby-dozy. Unfortunately, we're just about to close up, mate. I've been drinking some of the beers that I've been having over the last, I want to say month or two that I've brewed. No, that's a lie. Last 2 months. We've had a New England IPA. We've had a blueberry and raspberry sour. We've got an American IPA and East Midlands mild. We've been sipping on them. And happy birthday to us. We are the Fermented World Collective. Happy fucking birthday. Excuse my language. Sorry, I didn't mean to swear. Well, I did mean to swear because I swore. But I try not to swear because it's fucking disgraceful. Yes, 3 of those beers are on the Fermented World if you do want to go check them out. The recipes are free. They're always listed at the bottom in the comments. Have you tried a ruby port? Yeah, I like port. I don't mind port. I actually tried to find a way of getting port grapes so that I could brew a Pyment with them. But I just couldn't seem to get hold of the specific grape that you need for a port. Crikey, dude, my eyesight's pretty good, but I cannot see what that is. What is it? A ribbon? Or 2 aliens kissing? What the shit? I don't even know what that is, dude. Cheers, man. Go celebrate you. 4 years today. Hope you have a good one. Mine, I'm going to go check out the recipes and grab some food. I think they are Balians. I don't know what that is, dude. Look at it, though. It looks like 2 feckin' aliens kissing, dude. Right, anyway, ladies and gentlemen, I am going to go off skis. I'm going to go drop kick the kids for making noise whilst doing a live. No, I'm only joking, of course not. I'm only going to slap the shit out of them. No, I'm joking, I'm not. I don't need to hit my kids. The look does it all. Balloons. Okay. Right, well, you guys have a lovely evening. It's probably like midday for you. It's night time here for me. Look, the sun's gone down. Or going down. If I get my fucking head out of the way. So, yeah. We'll be back again for more. I do normally do lives when there are new beers that I'm sampling. Normally I do a carbonation test before it goes to the store to chill out for about 3 weeks. Always open do lives on bottles of mead. Yeah, just come and have a look. See what's crack-a-lacking. Take it easy, guys. Love you all. Take it easy.